Hey, parasite! How long are you going to stay in bed? Don't stay in your room all day. Do your chores. The laundry's piling up.
Faye, I'm a parasite. That's terrible. Besides, I have to work from home today. I'll be starting work soon, so please stop making a ruckus outside my room.
Huh? What's that? You make it sound as if it's my fault. You're too cocky.
But you don't work. Why don't you do your own laundry?
I don't work. So what? You are no different from me, yet you have an attitude?
No different?
You stay in your room, working or sleeping, I don't know. You don't do much, do you? It seems like there's not much you can do on the side to make money from home. I looked it up, but it doesn't look like any of them make much money. Besides, until recently, you'd been sleeping in your room all day saying you were sick. But the moment you start a side job to make a little money, you get all bossy. I mean, if you're well enough to be so bossy, why don't you get a divorce? You used to be so sickly that you had to be taken care of in the hospital. I know you couldn't survive without Aaron's help. It's time for you to think about getting a divorce and living on your own.
Divorce? I knew you didn't think much of me for a long time. But you even wanted me to divorce him, huh? I'm certainly not as sickly as I used to be. It's just that I'm starting to understand how to face it. I still have to rest and stay in shape. That's why I'm not working outside the home. I'm trying to find a job at home.
So, are you gonna sponge off Aaron forever?
Sponge?
Because that's what it is, isn't it? Aaron used to be popular with all kinds of women. But after he married you, he stopped having any fun because of sickly, fragile you. I guess you can say he's lost his Aaron-like charm. I really feel sorry for him, don't you? He has to work not only for my family, but also for you. He's so busy with work, he often looks like he's exhausted. You're like a plague, aren't you?
Why do you say that? I'm working hard too, you know. If you say that, when are you going to go out on your own?
Huh?
I thought you were going to leave as soon as we got married. You don't work, and you just lounge around the house all day. You don't seem to have a boyfriend or any friends. You're already in your 40s. Don't you feel any urgency? Do you really think you'll be okay with your life as it is?
Huh? I don't want to hear that from you, of all people. You can't survive on your own and just live off of Aaron. You're just a burdened woman who can't live on her own and is only surviving because you're a parasite. You married Aaron, but you use your health as an excuse not to have children. You're finished as a woman. Don't lecture me like a big shot. It's really bad enough that an infertile parasite of a woman like you took my sweet little brother.
What did you say? Your words and actions are too much. It's true that I was too sickly to have children, but Aaron was also fine with that.
What's so fine about it? It's natural to want to have children when you get married. Because of your selfishness, Aaron's future was ruined. Even my mom really regrets that Aaron married an infertile woman. She wants you guys to get a divorce so he can get a young wife. She always says she wants grandchildren.
So why didn't you get married then?
I have to be supportive of my parents. I didn't want to get married and leave home. I didn't have the brazenness like you guys to think that I would live with them after marriage and be a parasite.
Supportive? Are you talking about staying home and moping around?
Yeah, right? Because I'm my parents' beautiful, beautiful daughter. My presence supports them both. My brother Aaron was always playing with women and was unreliable. Now my parents live with him and his burden of a wife. I can't help but feel sorry for them.
Well, it's none of my business. But I don't think it's really healthy to live like that. How many pounds have you gained since I came to this house? You don't do housework, you don't work, you just eat. You just lie on the sofa and watch cartoons all day. I guess you must have gained about 40 pounds. I think it might be a good idea to do some exercise.
Who do you think you are? Who do you think you're talking to? I'm living my life for myself. It's not a life for anyone to evaluate me, so leave me alone. I mean, you're in no position to speak for me, are you?
But you don't pay rent. You don't pay for any living expenses. You live such a carefree life.
Are you kidding me? I know about you.
What?
The rent you pay is $400, right?
Huh?
How condescending can you be with $400 a month rent? Don't get smart with me. You're the one living off my parents and brother. We can cover that much ourselves. If you can't support us, get out now. Don't ever show your face again.
Okay, I'll leave.
Huh?
Then I'll leave as soon as I finish work today. But remember, you ask for it.
Give me back my Aaron.
Now it's my mother-in-law. What do you mean, give me back my Aaron?
Don't play dumb with me. You're the only one we kicked out. You even took Aaron with you. That's not what you promised.
I didn't promise anything to you. Besides, I left by myself and I didn't call Aaron. Aaron left the house of his own will.
There's no way he would do that. That boy is dedicated to his family. Of course he would choose his family over someone like you, who's sickly and useless. Besides, I'm trying to find him a new bride. I've even set up a meeting.
Oh, you really meant that?
If we don't do this, you'll ruin things.
That's wonderful, isn't it?
Don't be silly. Hurry up and let him go. Just bow out and send him home. If you don't, I'm going to sue you.
Sue me? Sue me for what?
For defamation against our family. And then, compensation for the crime of kidnapping Aaron.
Oh, I see. Anyway, I'll talk to Aaron. If he wants to divorce me, I will.
Do it right away.
I got this message from my mother-in-law. Aaron, you want to divorce me?
Don't be silly. What do you think I left my parents' house for? I'm not going back to that house ever again.
I know, right? I'm relieved.
You don't have to reply to Mom. She's been sending me texts telling me to hurry up and come home too. I'm ignoring them. I feel like I was ridiculous helping them all this time.
You're not even going to send money anymore?
No, no more. When they have my sister, they focus on her. It's not bad when she's not around. It's good for her to have a good life. But they put that burden on us.
It's not so much us, but you, who has to bear the burden. Moreover, your parents want to please your sister so much. They don't say what they need to say and try to take credit for everything. I knew that, but when I saw it firsthand, I didn't feel good about it.
It must have been hard for you too,
being deprived of credit and being treated so harshly. I suggested that you move in with me because you were feeling sick, and I wanted to make your life a little easier, but I'm sorry I put you through so much pain for so long because of it.
It's okay. Don't apologize. You've been through a lot over the years.
That's why I used to have relationships with random women, to fill that loneliness. But it didn't fill in the loneliness. And then I met you.
So I'm your savior.
But I'm not kidding. You really are. I mean, I got what I've always wanted. You're so patient with me. You accept me, even my weak points. You've been so sick for a long time and have been through a lot of hardships. I think that's why you were so kind to me, even though you were a bit fragile and had a hard time.
Well, you're right. My being weak was the problem. My parents always wanted a boy, and they put so much time and effort into raising my brother. I guess it's partly because they were paying for my treatment. They obviously took good care of him and spent a lot of money on him. But you're healthy, worked hard, and took care of your family. And yet, you were being treated unfairly and were trying to distract yourself from your loneliness. It's not a cool sisterly thing. It's more like, I guess being with you helped me to forget my loneliness too.
I guess that means we needed each other, right?
Well, are you really okay with this? I can't believe you left your family.
Yeah, because you're my family now. I've done so much for that family. And now, if those guys aren't going to make you important, I don't think I need to go around helping them out anymore. My sister is obviously the parasite, and yet she's the one acting like a big shot. And my mother, who's so insane that she wants me to divorce you and get a young wife. And my father, who pretends he doesn't see it all. I'm fed up with them all. I don't even want to talk to them again.
Oh wow, I see. But it's true that I was too sickly to have children. I feel sorry for you.
What a thing to say. You don't need to apologize. When we got married, we promised to live happily together, even if we couldn't have children. All I need is you. Besides, the time when you were sickly was a long time ago. You can't go overboard with work now, but you're still able to live a normal life and not have any problems. You're working from home. My sister is the one who lies around all day long with that big fat body. She looks much more unhealthy.
The other day, I told her she should exercise.
That triggered her temper. But they live in that nice spacious house. And she really thinks that we pay $400 a month for that? I thought she must have lived her whole life without learning anything.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, it won't be long before they come crying to me, will it? Dawn, get Aaron home as soon as possible. I don't care if you're with him, just come back. Oh, didn't you tell me not to show my face again? I said it, but it's an emergency. I don't care about that, just come back. There's no way I'm coming back. What's the matter? You seem to be in a panic. You know what I'm talking about. You guys have been paying the rent. I can't believe you guys were paying $4,000 for rent. I thought it was $400. I didn't know that. Of course, you who have no intention of paying rent or anything else. Of course, you wouldn't know. But that's true. You're right. We have been paying $4,000 a month in rent, not $400. Every month for 20 years since we got married at 18 and moved into your house. What's that? Why does it cost so much?
On the contrary, why did you think it wouldn't cost that much? Did you think you could live in that house with a yard for a family of 4 for only $400? You've never paid rent on your own, have you? You've been living off your parents your whole life.
Well, that's because I didn't think it would only cost $400 a month. I thought my parents were paying most of it, and that you were only paying $400 of it. I thought Aaron was paying too.
That's a big misunderstanding. I mean, honestly, you didn't think that carefully, did you? And then, you were surprised when you got a new bill. You're telling me to come back.
Because there's no way I can pay that amount of money. You're not too nice either. You knew I couldn't pay this much and you left. And you deliberately left me alone when you thought I was mistaken about the $400. You're mocking me for being upset, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. To be honest, I've been frustrated with you for a long time now. But I thought that was Aaron's way. It's true that I was sickly and weak when I was younger, and I was indebted to you. I had to put up with it. Looking back on it now, it seems absurd for your parents to ask us young people to pay the entire rent. But I thought it might have been a test by your parents to see how serious Aaron was with all his playing around. I accepted it and did my best. But you guys just kept getting more and more brazen. Not only have you not paid the rent for the past 20 years, but you've become the head of the family and a lifelong child. You call me a parasite and treat me like a servant. When I talked to your parents, they did nothing to help me. On the contrary, you, including your mother, tried to kick me out. To be honest, I've been wanting to leave for a long time. So this was a good opportunity for me.
You've got to be kidding me. There is no way I can afford this amount of rent. Then, I'll cover a little of the living expenses. Come back to live the same way you were before.
How long do you think you can keep talking to me like that? Why do I have to care for you, only to be treated like this? I've been putting up with you because I thought it was for Aaron's sake. I felt bad about abandoning you guys. But when you told me to leave, it lifted a weight off my shoulders. I won't have anything to do with you guys ever again.
Because you've been a recluse except when you're doing the housework. You're a homemaker with a crappy home-based job. I didn't think you could afford that kind of money, even if you and Aaron both worked.
I'm a homemaker, Bud. Did you know I'm a workaholic?
You are?
Sure, I can't do a job that requires daily commuting and physical exertion. I'm not strong enough for that kind of work. But I'm pretty good at working with my head. That's why I'm a rather popular blogger. I make more money than most people who go to the office.
Oh, is that so? You mean you make money from blogging? Writing a diary? If that's the case, I'll start one. I'll start now and earn money to cover my living expenses. So you'll come back, right?
There is no way someone like you can start a blog right now and make money. It's not that easy. You really don't know anything about the world, do you? If you wanted to just write some random little story and make money from it, you'd have to be a famous celebrity.
Are you doing something shady?
That's a funny thing to say. Anyway, it's not your business, so I'm not gonna explain it from zero. But you know what? While you were lounging around being a cartoon freak and lazily eating potato chips in your sleep, I was working my butt off to make money.
You don't have to say it like that. Then what are we supposed to do? This month's rent is due the day after tomorrow. If we don't pay, we will be evicted.
Why don't you work and earn money? You've been spoiled by us for so long. Isn't it about time you returned the favor to your parents? You're in your 40s, and you just sit around living off your parents all day. Don't you think it's boring and pathetic?
Because my parents are so kind and sweet. And even now, it's not like there's anything I can do. Even if I got a part-time job now, I wouldn't be able to make this month's rent. That's why I need you guys to pay it for me.
That's naive. Your way of thinking is naive. If you can't pay, then get the whole family to bow down or do whatever and pay somehow. Why do you only think about taking advantage of us for free? You'll never learn anything because you think you're going to have fun with other people's money. It's always been that way. You've managed to live on other people's money. You've done nothing, and now you're an incompetent person. Your lazy body says it all, doesn't it?
I've been listening quietly now, and you've just been making fun of me. I'm telling you to come back and pay the rent.
You're powerless and you yell at me like that. You're just a loser, crying because you lost.
Shut up! I'm suing you. My mother said she'll sue you for slander. Aaron didn't show up for the blind date our mom set up, and she got yelled at and was so embarrassed.
Oh, come on. So what?
What?
It's my mother-in-law's fault for deciding on the blind date without his permission. We're not divorced, and we have no intention of getting divorced.
Don't get cocky. You know what will happen if you go against me.
Well, what's going to happen? Do you think you can just boss people around and make them do what you want at your age? That's the kind of life you're going to lead. If you don't have money, eat less and work more, pig.
I beg your pardon? I am. Unlike you, I'm healthy. I'm not like you who's sickly, weak, can't have children, and is finished as a woman.
That's right. You're right. Well, you know, unlike me, you can call yourself healthy, right? Then you can go out and earn money any way you want. If you can't live in that house, then you're not cut out for it. Move to a place that suits you and live a life that fits your size. Get out of this parasitic life and make life easier for your parents.
I understand. Just give me the money. I can't afford $4,000. I apologize for going on like that.
Oh, me and Aaron were making $4,000 a month at the age of 18. If you're willing to die for it, you'll be fine. If you can't, why don't you get your parents to work too? With the three of you, I'm sure you can do it. Good luck. Immediately after that, my mother-in-law received the bill from the hotel restaurant where the blind date was supposed to have been held. My father-in-law, who knew nothing about the blind date, got angry, and my parents-in-law and sister-in-law got into a huge fight. As it was, there was no discussion, and the situation continued with everyone being stubborn and no one working. They could not pay the $4,000 rent and were forced to move out. The three of them moved into a shabby apartment, and my sister-in-law started to work part-time. She is over 40 years old and has no working experience. She didn't like the fact that she was being managed by a senior part-timer who was younger than her. So she snapped and left the company after a fight. After doing similar things in several places, she abandoned her parents and disappeared. Shortly after that, my father-in-law and mother-in-law divorced. My father-in-law is living a meager existence on his own pension, but where my mother-in-law went, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just glad I will never see any of them again. From now on, I want to take care of myself and live a peaceful life with my husband.